the disappearing roommate used to live in a cheap, run-down apartment building just outside of the city. The place had thin walls, flickering lights, and an elevator that constantly broke down. But the rent was low, and that was all I could afford at the time. My roommate, Don, and I had lived there for almost a year. He was quiet, worked night shifts at a warehouse, and mostly kept to himself. We weren't best friends, but he paid rent on time and never caused problems. Perfect roommate material. Or at least, that's what I thought. The first signs it started small. One night I came home from work, and the door to our apartment was wide open. My first thought was that we'd been robbed. But when I checked inside, nothing was missing. The TV, the laptop, even the cash I had left on my desk all still there. Don was sitting in his room with the door shut, light off. I asked him about the door, but he just muttered something I couldn't catch. I assumed he was half asleep after work and brushed it off, but it kept happening. Every few nights I'd come home to find the door cracked open or the chain lock dangling uselessly. Sometimes Dan's door would be ajar, but his room would be completely empty. When I asked him, he'd give vague answers, forgot to close it, or needed some air. His eyes looked darker every time, like he wasn't sleeping. The sound in the walls. About 2 weeks later, I started hearing something at night. It was faint, but I swear it sounded like scratching inside the walls. Not like mice or rats, bigger, slower, like someone dragging fingernails along drywall. Sometimes it came from behind my headboard. Other nights from the ceiling above Dan's room. One night I finally mentioned it to him. He looked up from the cereal with this dead expression and said, "Don't listen to it. That's how it gets stronger." I laughed nervously, waiting for him to explain. But he just went back to eating, like he hadn't said anything strange at all. Dan starts to change around this time. Dan stopped going to work. His boss came by once, pounding on the door, shouting that Dan hadn't shown up for 3 days. When I confronted him, he just said, "They can't see me at night. I can't go out there anymore." He stopped showering, stopped eating. His skin turned pale, almost gray, and his eyes were sunken like he hadn't slept in weeks. I would wake up at 3 a.m. and see his silhouette standing in the hallway, completely still, facing the wall. Every time I asked what he was doing, he'd whisper, "Listening." The disappearance then one night. Don was gone. I came home to find the apartment unusually quiet. His door was open, but the room was empty. No clothes, no bags, no sign he'd packed up. His phone was still on the nightstand, buzzing with missed calls, but the weirdest thing, his bed, the mattress was slashed open, the foam inside shredded like something had clawed its way out. The wall behind his bed had deep gouges, carved straight into the plaster, and written above it in black marker his handwriting were the words, "Don't let IT in," after Danny tried to tell the landlord, but he shrugged it off. Said roommates bail all the time. I even filed a police report, but without evidence of a crime, they didn't care. For a few days, it was almost peaceful. No scratching, no weird behavior. Then, about a week later, I woke up at 3:17 a.m. The sound was back, only this time. It wasn't behind the wall. It was inside my room. A low, scratching noise starting at the corner near my closet. I sat up in bed, holding my breath, staring into the dark. And then I heard it. Dan's voice, a whisper, rasping from the shadows. "You let it in, the last night that was last month." I haven't slept properly since. Every night the scratching gets louder. Sometimes I wake up with my door open, even though I know I locked it. Sometimes I see pale fingers curling around the edge of my closet door. I tried moving out, but every apartment I check, something feels wrong. The same chill, the same faint scratching just out of earshot. I think whatever got to Don is following me now. And if you're reading this, if you ever wake up at 3:17 a.m. and hear scratching in your walls, don't listen, because once you hear it, it already knows your name.